y'all, it's Ilana and welcome back to my channel. So this was a very requested video, so it is now time for me to finally reveal what am I looking for in a partner, because I've actually never talked about that on this channel. If you're new to my channel, hi, welcome. I post content about what it's like to navigate life and dating in San Francisco. So if you live in the Bay Area, maybe you're trying to move to the Bay Area, or maybe you're just single navigating the dating world, wherever the case may be, go ahead and subscribe down below because I think you'll really like it here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. I have a list right here of what I'm looking for in a guy, and this may sound like a lot, it may sound unreasonable, but I promise you, if you really think about it, I'm not asking for much. Because once you combine all of the things that I'm going to talk about, you're gonna be, oh, Ilana just really wants the bare minimum. And I know we should never ever applaud people for doing the bare minimum, but as a woman who has dated multiple guys wanting a relationship, she's never gotten the bare minimum. And to get the bare minimum would be very nice and would lead to happiness. So let's talk about the first obvious thing that I look for when it comes to a partner. Obviously, I'm going to need to find you physically attractive. Now, hear me out. Guys come in all sorts of shapes and sizes. They're all going to look different. I personally do not have a specific type when it comes to looks. I don't care about their height like most women do. I mean, I would say I would probably want my man to be at least 5'6". I'm only 5'1.5". I do not need a man to be 6 feet tall. That would serve me no purpose. I don't need a man to be 6 feet tall. I don't really care how fit he is. I mean, I definitely want him to take care of himself. Not everyone can have chiseled abs. And with the facial features, I will say I've always liked guys with facial hair, but again, I've also been attracted to men without facial hair. It just really depends on the guy, but at the same time, I don't really judge guys on this too much. I just want you to be well groomed per se. That's really what I care about. If you care about hygiene and grooming, that is very sexy to me. I don't really have a hair preference. I will say a lot of guys that I've dated have tend to be blonde, but I also really like brunettes. It just really depends on the guy. So it's hard for me to say what kind of facial features or physical attributes do I find attractive in a guy, because they all look different. So I guess I will say that's kind of how I feel when it comes to looks. It's all subjective and it's really just gonna change based off the guy. I would say I am definitely looking for a man who is older. I would say the youngest that I would go is 28, which is 1 year below me as I'm 29. And I have my age range up to 34, 35 years old. I want to cap it around that just because my brother is 8 years older than me, and I don't want to date a guy who's 8 years older than me because then it's going to feel like I'm dating my brother. And that's kind of my preference when it comes to age. I really wouldn't want to go that much older. I want to stick to a range where I feel the most comfortable in, and I think that's a solid range, 28 through 35. Let's talk about two non-negotiables for me that this man must have, or else it's going to be a relationship that will just never work out for me. The first thing that a man must have is that he must love cats, or he doesn't hate cats, he can tolerate cats. Basically, he's not fazed by cats, and he doesn't have cat allergies. The reason I say this is because I am looking for a lifelong partner that will lead to marriage and kids. Marriage obviously means you're going to be living with your partner. Elsa's only 6. She'll be 7 in June, so she's really not even that old of a cat. And I would hope maybe within the next 5 to 7 years, maybe I will be married. And I'm going to safely assume that Elsa will still be alive, and we're gonna move in together, all of us. That cat is coming with us when we move in together. Maybe I may even choose to live with my significant other before we get married. That's also a big possibility. So he has to be able to put up with cats, he needs to love cats, and he can't have cat allergies. And I know allergies isn't something that I can really hold against him because that's not necessarily his fault, but I wouldn't want to put a man through being around my cat if he has allergies. It's not fair to him. Why should he have to be around my cat if it makes him miserable physically? So, can't have cat allergies, must be okay with cats. I don't think that's too much to ask for. The other thing is that he must want kids. I am looking for a man who's always wanted a family of his own because I want a family so badly. I think if you don't want kids but your partner does, that's not gonna work at all. He needs to want kids because I want kids. End of story. So now let's go to the bare minimum basics, because as picky as I may come across on my channel, I'm telling you, my standards are high, but they're also kind of low. And the reason I say it's high is because I haven't found a man who has met all these standards that I have. Obviously, he needs to make me laugh. I don't really need to explain that. My partner needs to be funny. But I absolutely do not want him to be sarcastic. Sarcasm to me is such a turnoff. I don't know how to handle sarcasm very well. I find it to be condescending. I find it to make people really uncomfortable. And I don't do sarcasm very well. Sassiness is encouraged. Like, I feel like I'm able to tell the difference between sassy because I'm very sassy and opinionated. To be sarcastic all the time is not a good look, and I am not really turned on by that. So that I just wanted to tie in together. The next thing, and this is also very important to me, and it probably should have gone into my non-negotiables list, but we need to have the same values and beliefs when it comes to human rights, political standpoints, and family values. So if he is more into traditional gender roles, that's not going to work for me. There's nothing wrong with traditional gender roles. If you want to be a stay-at-home mom or a breadwinner, whatever that role is, that's fine. Do you, as long as you're actually happy doing that and it's helping you live a satisfied and fulfilling life. By all means, no judgment. However, I do not want to be with a man who's going to expect me to be a stay-at-home mother, not making money, being kept in the house all day long, doing all the cooking and cleaning. First of all, I can't cook for shit. So I would also like my man to be a very good cook because I hate cooking. I'm such a bad cook. And I really want a partner who can do some cooking because I just really can't cook. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Yeah, I just can't rely on somebody who's going to expect me to be traditional for them because I'm not going to change anything about myself. So making sure that we're aligned and that he sees me as an equal, and that when I do have kids one day, he's not gonna just expect me to be the only parent in the relationship and just be the one that says, oh yeah, that's my kid, but doesn't actually make an effort to be a parent. There have been a lot of traditional men that have this mindset, and it's disgusting. And I'm hoping to all the traditional men out there who actually do act as a father figure, thank you. You're not the ones that I'm talking about. Besides the point, being a parent, being involved with a child, and not just expecting me to be the only parent in the relationship is very important. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Same values and beliefs. Long story short, that's what I need in a man. This next thing is also really important, and it's to just simply be upfront with me. Being honest. I really want a man who's not afraid to let me know if something is bothering him. If I did something that upsets him, I want him to communicate that with me so we can talk about it. Obviously, I'm able to determine whether something is petty or not and whether something is actually serious and that needs to be addressed. It can go both ways where I would do the same for him. So just being able to be upfront with me and to just have the decency to tell me things and to be a considerate person, that is something that is crucial for me. And I don't think that's a lot to ask. And speaking of that, having mutual communication. So I don't want my partner to be the only one putting effort into the relationship, and I also don't want to be the only person who's putting effort into the relationship because I've been there and done that. When I've been the only person texting the guy first and he never initiates things to go on dates, to see how I'm doing. I want the communication to be mutual and to be consistent. I want it to be healthy and I want it to be balanced. I'm not saying he needs to be texting me all day long because personally I do not want to be texting you all day long. I got shit to do. For you to just check in with me and to make sure that the conversation keeps going, the communication is still there, knowing that we are in this together, that is so important to me. And without proper communication, that's a relationship that is just destined to fail. So this next one is definitely going to be very judgmental of me. And I'm sorry if you are somebody who is part of this population. It's just my personal preference, and I've actually had experiences with men who have been a part of this population, and it just hasn't gone well for me. I do not want to date men who have a lot of criminal offenses or some kind of crazy criminal record. In college, I went out with 2 guys who had a bunch of offenses, who had been to jail before, and I just simply wasn't treated right in the relationships. So, to me, I want a guy who doesn't have any kind of crazy background, no crimes. I mean, obviously, speeding tickets and parking tickets, I don't really give a shit about that. Yeah, if it's anything minor like that, that's not a big deal. But if you have a bunch of DUI offenses, or maybe you have a history of a bunch of other dangerous things on your record, I do not want to date you. I just don't. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying those people don't deserve love. Based off my experience, I don't want to date people like that and get into the same situation that I got into before. And I hope some of you people can understand why that is a preference for me. So let's talk about love languages really quick. My top 2 love languages, quality time, and then my second one is words of affirmation. This is super important to me. I cannot tell you how many guys I have gone out with who do not make time to see me or give me time with their undivided attention. I am a kind of person who needs validation and comfort by spending time with you. I love having deep and meaningful conversations. I love cuddling and just being present with you, doing things together where we're having fun, just the 2 of us, no interruptions, phones are away, and the focus is on each other. That is so important to me. And I cannot tell you how many times I have been with men who just don't give me the quality time that I deserve. And it's really frustrating. Guys don't make time for me. I feel uncared about. I feel very unvalued. And I don't want to feel that way. Your partner shouldn't make you feel that way. So being there for me and spending time with me uninterrupted is so important for me. And then the other thing that I really want my partner to do for me is to tell me how beautiful I am, or is to call me gorgeous. I think gorgeous is such a powerful word. I think it's more powerful than the word beautiful. I also love it when men tell me how stunning I am and they use the heart eye emojis. I love that. Oh my god. Like, there is nothing just more validating than the heart eye emojis and being called you're stunning, you're beautiful, or using words of encouragement where you can say, you got this, babe, you're so strong, you work so hard, things like that. I want my partner to say things like that to me because I also can say things like that to my partner and be very encouraging to my partner. So that is something that's very important for me. My ex-boyfriend never really told me how beautiful I was. He never said things like, hey gorgeous, hey sexy, hey beautiful, you're so stunning, oh my god, you're so hot. He never said stuff like that to me ever. And I just always would question myself if I was even pretty to him. And turns out I wasn't, which is one of the reasons as to why he broke up with me after 2 years. Anyway, you get the point. Let's move on. This next thing is that I want a guy who is affectionate and romantic because I am super affectionate. And I know I'm against traditional gender roles and traditional femininity, but at the same time, I do care about my femininity, and I will tell you that I am very, very nurturing. And I'm actually a lot more soft and gentle than you would think. I know I can act like this bad bitch on camera, but when I date men, I definitely let a lot of my femininity come through. I will say femininity, masculinity, it's on a spectrum, but when I'm with the right person who makes me feel some kind of way, my femininity will come out naturally. I don't force it. If you have to force yourself to be more feminine, then you're not going to succeed. I think you should let that come naturally to you. And the right person will make your masculine or feminine traits come out. That's my own personal opinion. I am pretty soft, and I'm very affectionate and nurturing, and I think that's a great quality to have. But I also need my man to be affectionate with me as well, because if he doesn't return any kind of love and affection back to me, again, I'm going to feel unvalued and not cared about. Showing affection by helping me around the house, that's not what I mean. I want you to kiss me on my cheek. I want you to hug me from behind. I want you to just hold my hand and to be there for me. That's not too much to ask for. And that's one of the biggest things that's upset me when I've dated men, is that when I am affectionate and nurturing and loving to them, I don't get that in return, and I feel unvalued and not cared about. Another thing that I look for is just a man who is reliable and he keeps his promises. I don't think that's too much to ask for. This is a big one. This comes to sex. I got needs, I got kinks, and if you don't like the same kind of things that I like in bed, or if you can't keep up with me in bed, then it's not gonna work. So having that kind of sexual compatibility is very important to me. And let me tell you, of a lot of guys that I've slept with, a lot of the sex has been mediocre because these men want basic vanilla ass shit. And if you kind of want to know more depth about my kinks, you can subscribe to me on OnlyFans, because I'm way more open about that, and I don't really want to talk about what I'm into on my YouTube channel. So just take that information for what you will. This next thing is really important, and probably one of the most obvious ones is to be emotionally available. I need a man who wants a relationship. I don't think that's too hard to ask for. I need a man who is so sure about his life and what he wants. He is excited about a family. He's excited about getting married. He's ready for commitment. I need that. I need a man who is ambitious and he has his shit together. Now, I will say I don't have my shit together just because I have debt, but at least I know what I want in life. And all I ask is, maybe you may not be financially put together, but you know what you want in life. You know what your purpose is. You see yourself having a family of your own. That excites you. You're ready for that. That is what I need. And it's so important. And I am very much ready for a relationship. I am emotionally available for one, as I've talked about this over and over again on my channel. So it's really important that I find somebody who is on the same journey as me and has the same kinds of intentions as me. Oh, and one other final thing I will say is, he has to be interesting. He can't bore me, because I have a very short attention span and I do get bored easily. So I need a man who's going to constantly excite me and find a way to make himself unique and stand out. Because if you're going to be boring and have this monotone personality, I'm going to be very uninterested and I'm going to get bored. So that's the one last thing that I will say. But again, I really don't think everything that I mentioned is too much to ask for. I think everything that I stated is just meeting the bare minimum. I'm looking for someone who's going to treat me with respect, who's going to meet my needs, and I'm pretty sure that I can easily meet their needs, whatever it is. And I really don't think that's too much to ask for. I just simply haven't found a guy who is just a good person overall, who makes me a priority, because I make my partner a priority. I would say my career, my cat, my friends, my family, my partner are all of my priorities. My partner will never be my first priority, and I don't expect my partner to make me his first priority at all, because your first priority should be yourself, always. But at the end of the day, that is what I look for in a guy and what I really need in terms for me to be in a happy and successful relationship. Now it's your turn. I'm curious to know, what do you look for in a partner? What are your needs and wants that you know would make you happy in a relationship? Comment down below and let me know what it is. And if you liked this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.